Hello, and welcome to the first session in Pipeline's 3-week bootcamp series. My name is Kimberly Longhauser. I'm a customer success manager here at Pipeline. Just a couple housekeeping items before we get started. We've got the Q&A box available in your Zoom panel down below. It could be at the bottom or it could be at the top of your screen. It just depends on how you have your Zoom set up. I do encourage questions. If you have any, someone else is probably thinking about it. And once they're popped in there, I'll get a little notification and be able to address them live. If there are no questions that come in over the course of today's webinar, they will be answered. I'm sorry. My closed captioning came on and threw me off there for a bit. So if there are no questions offered up throughout the webinar, I will save the last 15 minutes for any questions or additional review if needed. Let's go ahead and dive in here. So first up, we have our agenda. We have a bootcamp overview, the account settings review, and then again, that question and answer portion. So the series, the 3-week bootcamp series, once you register for the first one, you're registered for all 3, and you will receive the reminders to join us at the same time for the first 3 weeks of the month. So today's session is going to be focused on our account settings. Next week will be the day-to-day user use of the platform. And then the 3rd week will be the follow-up custom training. That's a little bit of a different style. It's a bit more freeform and it's shorter. It's 45 minutes. So let's go ahead and jump into Pipeline. Here, when you log into Pipeline, this should be very familiar. You will see your dashboard here and it will be filtered according to the last time you used Pipeline. So in my case, it's filtered to my pipeline. And for today's purpose, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here. We're going to go ahead in the top right-hand corner across the global navigation, click on profile and jump into account settings. Your account settings, I affectionately like to call this the spine of Pipeline. It will allow you to change and adapt Pipeline itself to better fit your business. Here on the account settings overview, you'll see a couple quick links. The hindsight tool, have an idea. This will link you to our product portal, calculated fields video, and then our need help. So help is available to all users on all plans, regardless of if you are on start, develop, or grow, and regardless of the size of your team. You're able to access help here if you are not an admin. I failed to mention that these account settings will only be available to admins. No worries if you're not an admin on today's call. Maybe you'll learn something and take it away and want to talk to your account admin about it. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. We're going to jump in with the general and account details. So account details will show you your company name, which is established when you create your Pipeline account. You are able to select your industry. This helps in terms of standardizing your account and helps some reporting for us on our back end. So you can feel free to leave it blank. The technical contact will be required should you want to establish an API connection, if you use our web deletes, or if we have a custom integration for you. It gives us a person within your organization to contact and follow up with, say, if an automation fails, or if an API call throws up an error and holds up your whole system. If you have more questions about the technical contact, API, web deletes, definitely pop those in the question and answer box, and I can earmark those for next week. Global navigation is your global navigation bar here at the very top of your screen. This section allows you to edit the naming of these tabs, as well as hide tabs that are not applicable to your business. Just recently, this past week, I hid all of the tabs below agenda. So agenda, calendar, email, reports, goals, and files for one of my accounts. She's really wanting her team to focus on the company's deals and people section. So you can always make those changes here. And again, this is account specific and account wide. So this would impact your entire team. It takes a second for it to update, but you'll see it update dynamically. And they're disappearing. If you say you want to bring them back, it's just a simple re-click on this eyeball here, and they will come right back. One thing that I will say about renaming your global navigation bar, if you were to rename companies, say to locations or properties, it will not follow you throughout the app. It is strictly renaming these tabs here along the top. Go ahead and make sure that all of these guys are restored. And we're going to move on to users. Users. So depending on the plan that you're on, if you're on Start, you'll see one team, Develop gets 2, and Grow has unlimited teams. For the purposes of today, I am on the Grow plan, so I have unlimited teams. We have different levels of user roles here, as well as visibility settings once you get into that team structure. So you can see right off the bat, I have my executives and then I have my teams. You'll also see little labels for leaders versus regular users. If I am to click into Kimber Longhauser here, you'll see that every person within your system must have an email address, a first and last name, and then a role assigned. So our roles in pipeline are executive, team leader, or team member. And as you see, executives cannot be a part of the team. That is because executives have visibility across the account, and there is nothing on the account that can be hidden from them. Now, you can have an account executive, and they will not be an account admin, which restricts their access to the account settings. In this case, Kimber is an account admin. She's able to delete people and deals, export reports, send email campaigns, and these 2 are automatic because she is an executive. If you were to grant Kimber read-only access, that means that she cannot add or edit any data. However, they can collaborate versus activities and comments, and read-only access does require a license because they are contributing. They're just not adding new record types to pipeline. With that, you'll see that you have the little label here for admin as well. And Jeff is not an admin, but he is an account executive. That is because I have Jeff set up to oversee all of my teams. So we have the project team, the sales org, the sales team, and then Acme, which reports to the sales team. When you are creating a new team or adding a new user, if you are on the Start or Develop plan and you have used up your allotment of teams, you will receive a pop-up. Because I am on Grow, I can select new team and it will allow me to select and add in the name and the reports too. So we're going to go ahead and create a new team and we're going to say this is our delivery team. And we're going to say that it reports to our project team. You can create the team and view the summary, or you can add users directly from this page. I'm going to go ahead and create the team and view the summary. So now we'll see that I have my team name and who they report to, and I have 0 users on this team as of now. This brings me to our visibility settings. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple people here. I'm going to add existing users. We're going to do Robin, take her away from the sales org, and we're going to add her in here. And then I will do Sam. Okay. So now Robin and Sam have been moved here as existing users, which means that their existing user roles are kept and held. You'll see that she has normal access and has access to all of the below. If I don't want Robin to be able to change company, deal, or people owners, I'm going to go ahead and toggle that off and hit save. Now, if there was another team member on this team, so Sam and Robin, they can only view their own records. So Robin cannot see any records owned by Sam, any records manipulated by Sam. Sam's information is private in that aspect. However, Sam is able to see Robin because you see down here in the bottom left, we have the team leader visibility. So the team member visibility is editable and changeable. You can change it to they see only their team members, only team members and leaders, or all records global. All records global is used if you want to retain the use of teams in order for reporting purposes. Also, it works really well for goals, but you want everyone to be able to collaborate and see everyone's records. The team leader visibility is not editable. This is standard. It's a system default. Any questions about teams, users, or adding a new user? Okay, so active users is a tool or a list view type page here for you to manage your active users. I have 15 here, and if I was using a live pipeline account, I would have a little banner and right here next to create new team indicating how many users versus licenses I have available. So if I had 20 licenses that I had paid for, I would see that I'm using 15 out of my 20 licenses. You can quickly see what team each user is associated to, their email address, role, if they're an admin or if they are read-only, and then their last login. This last login is great for tracking adoption and usability of the platform. You are also able to edit the user, resend the invitation email, reassign their data, or mark them as inactive. Resending the invitation email will help if, say, Andy is like, hey, I never got my email, I'm unable to log in. You can go ahead and resend that invitation and it will resend automatically to that email on file. Say Andy moves roles and he moves from a team leader to an executive. I would want to reassign his data because he may have live deals or live contacts that still need to be followed up on, but moving to an executive role means that's not his responsibility anymore. You can do that in one click here and choose whom to reassign it to. This will also pop up if you are to mark a user as inactive. So if I was to pick Bob Koff here and mark him as inactive, it will ask you to reassign your data. When you mark users as inactive, you will receive this pop-up and then a secondary pop-up asking if you want to edit your license count. This is especially important for those monthly account holders. If you are flexible in your license count and you're wanting to be billed specifically for what active users you have in the system, you'll need to visit your payment and billing, which is nested here between global navigation and users. I just don't have access to that. But if you have questions about it, please contact our customer care team, and they are more than happy to direct you to where you need to be. User security. This is where you can enable multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication, we use the Google Authenticator app. It's a great way to keep your account secure. We use it ourselves here at Pipeline. And you're also able to pull the login audit report. So you're able to see when this person logs in. Again, I have a test account, so there's not going to be a whole lot of data here, but your account may look a lot different. If someone had said like, hey, I was in the system last week, and you pull this up and you see no September dates listed, or no dates from last week listed, you can say, hey, I was able to look up the audit report and I'm not seeing your login there. Can you help me understand what's happening here? Just a better way, again, to coach and to help with adoption and usability of the platform. If you deactivate a user, they will show here under inactive users. If that for any reason you need to reactivate that user, that will be found here under actions. I like to pick on Bob here, so I'll go ahead and put him as inactive. I'm not reassigning his data. We'll mark him as inactive. We'll come over here to inactive users, and then you'll see here, and then the date that they were deactivated. You're able to reassign their data after deactivation as well, and you are able to reactivate that user. Again, he is a read-only, so he will impact my license count. Colors and branding. I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to keep us moving. This is customizable to fit your business. You're able to update your company logo. I have no logo. You can choose to add your company name here at the top as well. It helps your team feel like Pipeline is their product. You can change the color to different colors as well. Just make sure that you hit that save icon here at the bottom in order to retain your changes. Currencies. If you are an international or you work with international partners, when adding new deals, you may want to record their home or their native currency. So you can see that I have the USD, American dollar. This is a feature exclusive to Grow. Just need to make sure I call that out. Where you have the USD American, Canadian, British pound, and euro. You are able to add currencies, again, if you're on the Grow plan. And then when you go to add those deals, you would see it in your amount field. Where's my amount field? Oh boy, I have changed things here. Here's your drop down for your system fields. Performance lanes are also a Grow feature. We're going to focus in on this in week 3, our follow-up training. But just a quick overview of Performance Pulse. If you have multiple products, this is a great way to track those multiple products and your success selling or marketing those specific products. As you may have gathered, my test account is themed after a paper company. We have 3 hole punch paper, college ruled paper, grade A cardstock, paper book sleeves, Sabre copiers, Sabre printers, and staplers. Again, week 3, when we review goals, you're going to really see a real life application of the Performance Pulse lanes and how they can better help your business. This is also a great way to track your multiple products if you do not have multiple sales processes attached to each product. One of my previous clients was a fertilizer distributor. So they're using Performance Pulse lanes and additional pipelines to track the different type of machines, as well as the different fertilizer substance that they are providing their customers. Any questions on the general section from account details to performance lanes? Like I said, don't be shy, pop your questions in. If there's something specific that you would like to see, pop it in the question and answer box. More than happy to review it for you. I'm going to keep us moving down here to custom fields. So custom fields are unique to Pipeline in terms of we allow you to add custom fields to better support your business. We have our system fields, and then the custom fields are at your discretion. With the start, develop, and grow plan, there are unlimited custom fields on the grow plan, 35 on develop, and 25 on start. So that's 25 start, 35 develop, unlimited on grow. And that is per record type. So you would have 25 company, 25 deal, 25 person, and so on and so forth. So you can see here that we have the 3 record types here in Pipeline available as 3 different tabs: company, deal, and person. And then you'll see that you have the ability to create custom field groups. Custom field groups are not included in your allotment for custom fields. You can have as many custom field groups as you want. Your plan just dictates how many custom fields you are able to create. So you can see here under company, I have accounting specifics, company sponsor info, and tagged companies. And then I have a multitude of different fields created. Our types of custom fields are Boolean, yes or no, calculated, currency, date, dropdown, multiple association, single association, numeric, pick list, and text fields. I tend to steer my accounts away from using text fields, and I'm going to get into that more next week, but the brief of it is text fields are harder to filter and slice and dice your data. When you're looking at putting your data in Pipeline and looking at the options that you have to record different items, really ask yourself, is this a yes or no option? Is this a one answer? Could there be multiple options? One answer would be a drop down. Multiple answers would be a pick list. And then a good example of that would be industry as a drop down. So for my industry, I've got industries 1, 2, and 3. Not a great, I'm going to come over here to deals actually. We'll do this guy. And then project type is a great way to determine your pick list. So you've got foundation or ICF wall. So I can either have a foundation project or an ICF wall. But I could have that, I would, with a pick list, be able to have one deal with both project types associated, because again, it was a pick list, which is a multi-select. If I came over here to my deal attributes for my drop downs, you see I have state as a drop down. That is because typically my project is going to reside within one state. So I'd be able to select that state here, as well as say flight differences. If you need to manage your custom field groups or edit your custom field groups at any time, you can do so by clicking Manage Custom Field Groups, and you'll have the access to edit the name or delete the field altogether. You'll also see that I have this restricted bar here. This is something that is exclusive to the Grow Plan as well, and we're going to get into that right now. So we have rolled out Advanced Visibility. This is a new offering within this year. You will be able to access this on Start and Develop in a limited capacity. The capacity for you is the edit option. So when it's our answer to locked fields. So if you are an account admin on the Start or Develop plan, the view here will be grayed out. and the edit will be you can toggle the edit option for it. This will allow users to add information upon record creation, but they will not be able to edit the field after save. So if there were fields within booking and scheduling projects that I didn't want certain teams to see, I could go ahead and restrict project team and say, hey, I don't want you to see this entire group. Or I can say you can view it and you can add information, but you can no longer edit it after the save. This team restriction is, again, a feature of Grow. If you're interested in a Grow trial, please reach out. We can definitely enable that for like up to 2 weeks. Now, we talked through the managing custom fields. Let's go ahead and add a new custom field. We're going to add a date field here we're going to select our group. We're going to say that it's going to go into booking and scheduling projects. And we're going to say it will be book final date. So my default visibility will be set to view. Everyone on the account can view it. Everyone on the account can edit it, and everyone can add it. So add a new team restriction. I'm going to restrict the project team, or let's do sales org, from viewing this field. That's going to remove all access, point blank, period. And then I can add another restriction for the sales team. And I can say that they cannot edit it. They cannot edit the field after save, but they can add information. And we'll go ahead and hit save. When you have a restricted field, so it automatically takes you to that group after field creation. If you have a restricted field, you do not see that same banner for that restricted item. So if you have a team member that's saying, hey, I can't see this field, or hey, I should be able to see this, other people can see it, but I can't. Again, you'll want to come to the top right-hand corner, account settings, custom fields, access that group where that field resides, and then edit that visibility within that field. Removing visibility is very easy, or advanced visibility. You can go ahead and save that, and now it's available again to all users. Same goes for managing custom field groups. Hitting that pencil icon and hitting that delete will remove that restricted option right away. Any questions on custom fields? You cannot have the same custom fields on record types. So I would not be able to have 2 project types for deals, but I could have a project type for company and a project type for person. You can see that I don't have duplicate custom fields. And then the association fields is something that I didn't talk to very much detail. This is going to be looking at company records. So you can assign a multiple or single association custom field to company, deals, or people, but the information to put into that multiple or single association will be a company name. So you can link multiple companies to a deal. You can link multiple companies to a person. It's our answer to a company hierarchy as well. So if you had parent company as a multiple association, I think I might have that one. Multiple companies, parent company. You can add and cascade, like if you were working with G&E and you had 4 or 5 locations, you could link those 4 or 5 locations if they're created as companies in your pipeline to that parent GE. With custom fields, we also allow editing of the company, deal, and person form. So this will look very similar. And as we saw earlier, my amount field is not where it should be on the deal field or the deal form specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it back up the form. So I'm going to come here to my hidden fields and my system fields, grab amount, and pop it right under deal name. The great thing about adding and editing forms is this is dynamic and updates in real time. So you're able to click and drag to adjust and change. You're also able to see which fields are a custom field and the type of field that they are. You can make different fields required at any time. This updates in real time. I don't know why my required button is not working, but it could just be because my screen, there we go. Okay. So now for every deal that is created, the kickoff call date is required, and then the owner is required. The reason I have owner required and this is very important for accounts that are using Teams. If you have users who cannot change deal, company, or person record owners, the owner field must be required for that record type to assign to the creator. So if Lauren was creating a person within my account and couldn't change the owner, and this was not required, or creating a deal, I'm sorry, and the owner field was not required, that deal would come through with no owner. And Kimber, as a account executive or an admin, account executive or team lead, would need to go back and reassign that deal to Lauren. But by making this owner field required, you bypass that altogether. That is not a system standard though, so that's why I'm calling it out. You'll see if I toggle over here to company, I don't believe I have owner no, I do have owner as required. I went through and changed that. Should have changed it on all of them, but it's possible that I missed one. So we're going to go ahead and make you required as well on people. And again, this updates dynamically real time. You can change the amount of system fields that you have available. Pipeline is always going to be required, as well as deal name. So pipeline you see is required, but stage is not. We're going to get into that a little bit more down in pipeline and stages, but every deal that you create within your pipeline, you will need to have a stage assigned to it in order for it to show up as an active deal. So it is good practice to make stage required, especially if you have multiple pipelines. Any questions on add edit forms? Nope. Okay. Activity categories are just that. We have two types of notes or reminders within pipeline, or three types, I should say. We have activities, tasks, and events. So activity categories are those notes, those hands-on actions that you've done or that you need to communicate and collaborate with your peers. And you can edit and add your categories here. Next week, you'll see how these categories play into creating those notes and the additional actions that you can associate to those activity categories. You will have the system categories available as well, and these will all be available to add to a report for the activity scoreboard or the activity report as needed. Tasks and events, we have the event types. So a task and an event are two separate actions. You'll see under the add option, you'll have a task and you'll have an event. The quickest way to demonstrate this is a task is associated to a due date, and then an event is associated to a start and end time. So think of a task as more of a personal to do, and then an event is a meeting or a time-based action that needs to occur by a certain due date and time. These event types will cross over between the two. You can have as many of these as you want. There are no restrictions on any plans. Same goes with priorities. You can customize these. These are the system generated ones of high, medium, and low. Postpone periods. I'm skipping to do templates on purpose. We'll come back. Postpone periods. These are customizable as well. You can delete the ones that are system generated and add as many as you see fit. Your settings here, these are for your default duration for months for recurring end date. So again, this will associate to event types if you choose for a event to be recurring, and then new tasks require a due date. If you have this toggled off, users would be able to create tasks without a due date, meaning they could just float in the system forever. I like having due dates required. Go on. It'll go. To-do templates. So this is a great way to keep your account and your users on track. To-do templates will create a number of tasks delineated by you, the user or the admin, and you can associate them to multiple record types. So you can see that I have agent template available for deals, customers, companies, and people, which are all record types we have available. And then I have quite a few actions that come up. So the update to do templates for any of these, right? So we've got closed deal in 5 days, deal sales template, deals slipping away, and leads qualifying. These are two system generated that are to get you started. So if we take a look at those, you can see that I have 3 tasks here: call out and confirm interest, email follow-up, and appointment to close. You delineate your type here that we talked about over here, and then your priority as well. Priority is completely optional. Type will help you when reporting on what actions or what tasks and events have been completed. You can add as many tasks as you would like. A day and a task name are the only two required fields when saving a task template. Type is also required. You are able to set up an automation to assign these task templates, or you can assign them directly from the agenda within the record type profile view. So if you're on a deal page, you'd be able to add closed deal in 5 days. If you're on a person profile page, you'd be able to add leads qualifying template. We're going to get into automations a bit next week and the following week. If you want to see that specific automation in terms of assigning a task template, definitely let us know. Deal loss reasons, another great tool to help your team stay on track and really figure out and get to the bottom of why your deals are not closing. We use this currently within Pipeline. We pull a report of deal loss reasons. It helps our sales team and our product team really analyze what Pipeline needs to improve on and or why we're not closing deals. Super share lists. So super share is something that I haven't touched on previously. This is different than read only. So super share are external users and they do not count against your license count. Super share users cannot have the same email as your domain. So they have to be truly an external user. And you can share only deal list views with that external user, and they're only able to see exactly what you share with them. So if you have a deal list view filtered and you share that with, say, Bob, he would only be able to see the deals listed on that list view. Pipelines and stages. So depending on your plan will depend on how many pipelines you have available to you. Start is 1 pipeline, develop is 2, and grow is 5. And so you can see that I have 3 out of my 5 pipelines used. I've got my sales, my project, and my expansion products. The only requirements for each pipeline is a name and then a won and a lost stage. So you have to have a 100% probability and a 0% probability. They do not have to be named won or lost. This can change. When editing your pipeline, you'll see that you have your name here as well as your probability. This is your confidence level of the deal closing. So when I have a deal that comes in at request for info, I'm not very confident that it's going to close. As it moves through the stages within my initial sales pipeline, post queue, which for me is qualified, negotiation, and then qualified, presentation, delivery, and won. So if my deal makes it to delivery, I've got a 75% chance of closing that deal. That tells me that I'm pretty confident in closing this deal. Deal stages cannot be the same through different pipelines, and you'll see that here where I have lost with a parentheses 1, and you'll see that I have fewer stages within this pipeline. I've got quote, proposal sent, accepted scheduling, and then job completed. This is a fairly quick sales process. After they move through my sales pipeline, they pop into my project pipeline. It's a great way to keep my paper products in one pipeline if that is all they're interested in. If they're interested in my printers, copiers, or possibly staplers, they would move over to my project pipeline. Expansion project products. I created this pipeline as a bucket to hold any of my deals that have expressed interest, but they're not ready right now. So I've got holding pattern created, 1, and then not interested. So any of my deals that are not interested, do not want me to contact them anymore, I move them to my expansion pipeline, not interested. You can add as many stages as you need for as many stages as you want, as many stages as you need. And again, you can have as few as you want as well. Any questions on pipelines, creating different pipelines, the difference between pipelines versus performance lanes, or the use case of the multiple pipelines? Nope. Okay. Revenue types. Revenue type, you can use these to report on different revenue categories. This is available on all plans, I believe. It's similar. It's a way to get around kind of that additional currencies if you're not on the Grow plan. So the currencies here, the revenue types are available for you. You can change this to indicate if it's a different or a different country's denomination and that type of thing. You're also able to set a new value. In my case, I would align these to my pipeline and stages. So I've got new, which would be my sales, and then expansion, which would mean that I would activate this revenue type or select this revenue type if I was to create a deal and add it to my expansion products pipeline, and then reoccurring or project as well. You can set a default value, which means that automatically it will deposit into this revenue type, and revenue type is available as a filter option within our list views. Deal statuses are also a way to filter your deals. They help you sort and prioritize. We have the system deal statuses, which are red, yellow, and green, very similar to our high, medium, and low priorities within tasks and events. You can also add custom deal statuses. So you can select your color, enter your name, and save that as well. Any questions on deal management? No? Okay. Person statuses are also are a way to filter and prioritize your relationship with people, very similar to the deal statuses, but you can see that I use person statuses a lot more. I've got follow-up, warm, hot, archived, cold, lost, none, which looks to be like a duplicate. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. And then we have active. The drag and drop feature indicated by the dots on the far left will impact how this will display in the dropdown when selecting your person status. A person status is a great tool when you're using our email campaign feature because you can filter by person statuses and send an email campaign to all of your warm or your follow-up contacts. Similar in the same vein, we have our person tags. Person tags are automatically created when you import your data. If you have a column associated to tags, you can see that I have quite a few tags listed. Again, this is another great tool for slicing and dicing your data, for email campaigns specifically, or just in general, maybe a call down list. You're going to target all of your basketball fans because I think basketball season is coming. I know baseball is ending, but maybe you're looking for basketball fans that are beverage retailers and you want to focus on them for the upcoming season. You're able to filter, slice and dice, and send them a direct message or call them directly. Lead sources. Lead sources are transferable across person and deal records. They're under people management, but you will have the source available to you on both deals and people. You can see that these automatically create as well when you do your import, as long as your column is clearly marked with a source name to it. We're going to review imports in week 3 of our training, by the way. But you can see here, you can edit your source naming, you can delete. You cannot rearrange these, so they are a static list. But when you go to select them, you can search this list. So if you have like hundreds of lead sources, you're able to search them without having to come in here and delete them one by one by one. Any questions on people management? Okay. So here in our other section, we've got files. This is where you can store your company files, be it contracts, be it SOWs, be it an invoice format that you want everyone to use. I definitely encourage you to use and utilize file tags. As your business grows, as you're using Pipeline, your files tab here in the top global navigation bar, you'll quickly notice that it can get a bit unwieldy if you have your email synced, especially because if there is an attachment to an email, it's going to deposit in your files tab. Something that I have personally found useful I use contract and proposal and quote to track my individual deals and attachments. This has helped me manage my accounts as a customer success manager here when it's up for renewal, or I need to reference a contract for a previous agreement. You're able to filter on the files tab for your file tags. Also, when you add your shared files, you're able to tag those at that time. App Store. This is a quick rundown of all of our available pre-built integrations. These are apps that connect quite easily with our application within Pipeline. Our team specifically uses the Google apps. We use Gmail and the Gmail calendar. Outlook, we offer a bidirectional sync for email, Outlook, or email, calendar, and contacts. It is important to note with the Outlook sync, it is available on cloud-based email only. So if your email is privately housed or on a private server, you will need Microsoft Office 365 cloud-based in order to use the email sync within Pipeline. We also connect with Intuit QuickBooks, the web version. We have MailChimp that our team uses. We send out a lot of our product newsletters and marketing emails that way. We also connect well with Excel. Zapier is a wonderful tool if you're looking for something outside of this list. I definitely encourage your team to investigate Zapier. Paycove, Help Scout, UserLike FormStack, and 123 Contact Form. Again, we as Pipeline use Help Scout for our customer care team, and we also use Zapier for quite a few options within our internal team. If you have any questions about our integrations or are just looking for more information or possibly a bit of training on our Google, Outlook, or Zapier integrations, please reach out to our customer care team, and we can get that scheduled for you. API integrations. We have an open source API, meaning that your team can create a bridge between Pipeline and any system that also may have an open API. We do not offer direct support in order to create those API integrations, but we do have our API documentation linked here, which is very robust. And if your developers or your team has any questions, we can answer them to the best of our ability. API keys are going to be needed if you're going to use a tool such as Zapier in order to connect back to Pipeline. API access is currently enabled for my account. If you do not want your users using or utilizing the API, you can choose to disable the API access as well. And just to bring us back to this top account details, if you are using the API, you will want to put in that technical contact. We have automations, web to leads, and a new addition to this section is recent updates. Automations are a great way to automate different sections of your business, pick up the slack in different areas. You'll be able to organize your automations. With Start, you have one. With Develop, I believe you have 10. And Grow, you have 20. I'll have to double check that because we just made changes to our plans, but I know that Start is one automation. If I was to look at, we'll say deal changes, just for an example, and I want to look at, we'll say task related. Let's go to task related because I like these ones. Task template edition. So when you're looking at your automations and you're thinking through like, hey, what part of the automations are useful to me as a Pipeline user or a Pipeline admin, we have different trigger types: data change and time-based. Data, think of that as when a record type is updated, created, or deleted, and then time-based is going to be very similar. I'm going to go ahead and confirm this, but it's a record type on, before, or after a record type's suggested action. We're going to go ahead and refresh this. So for this particular automation, task template edition, data change, when a person is updated and the LinkedIn URL was not blank and the type is a lead, I have to apply a to-do template. Chances are I changed my to-do templates or edited them. If you do that to an existing task template and it is associated to an automation, definitely double check and make sure that that change filtered over. I recently cleared out a lot of my person task templates. So I'm going to go ahead and say linked cadence, and I'm going to say that the task owner is the triggered owner. So this is a great example of how creating that task template and then creating this automation can help my triggered person owner stay on top of this specific person type and possibly grab that LinkedIn URL. You'll also be able to see when your automation was last ran. So like my task template negotiation was last ran a month ago. If we look at this one, it is looking at when a deal is updated, deal stage changes to negotiation. It looks like I need to do this guy again. So close deal in 5 days. And then I also have 2 actions here. So I have apply a to-do template to the triggered deal owner, and then I have send a notification to that triggered deal owner. A new feature of our automations is the ability to CC additional users within your pipeline account. So if I have the triggered deal owner and I want to say the triggered deal owner's manager, the deal name caused by needs to complete the tasks associated. These attributes are a great way to pre-populate information and save you time. Back down here to our other, we have our recent updates. This is a great way to audit any changes made to your account. So you'll see here that I have a couple custom field changes. Jacob, it looks like he ended a goal. Nick changed his goal. But you can see that Kimber Longhauser is by far the most active user of my account. And then web to leads, very similar to our API integrations. This is the web to leads ID that you would need to link any external forms that you may have. I have an account currently that is using this to import all of their party information and schedule their parties through Pipeline. Our web to leads documentation is nested within our API documents. And if you have any questions, again, our customer care team is available for you. Chats are answered within 2 minutes, emails within 20, and calls within 2 rings. It's a real team of people, real answers, real time. With that, we have about 10 minutes left. And I want to open it up for any questions. That is the account settings in a nutshell from A to Z. And again, I just want to reiterate that any changes made within the account settings will impact the account overall. Do we have any questions? Y'all have been a very quiet group, so just want to, any sections you want to review or areas of account settings that we may not have hit in enough detail? The question and answer box is in the bottom or the top. Okay. One small other little plug that I'm going to do here is a quick hop into our ideas and into our knowledge base. So our product ideas portal is full of great product ideas within Pipeline. This is not limited to the account settings. It's not limited to a specific profile page. It's really if there's a functionality that you yourself or your account needs within Pipeline, this is a great way to have your voice be heard. You can enter your idea, search for different ideas, scroll through any new ideas and vote on any that seem applicable to your business. And when you're voting, you're able to delineate if it's important or critical to your business. So you could see allow sending campaigns to all contacts on a deal, increase image size, acceptability for email signature and received emails, or delete contacts. So there's quite a few new ideas in here. These are funneled into a Slack channel, and our product team has full and total visibility. And you'll be able to also see what status. So if I was to say in development, and filter to in development. You can see that I've got create customizable dashboards in development, multiple tagging with activities in development. And this is our product manager here, Annie. She will reply and respond directly to any users who do vote for specific ideas as well. Something about these customizable dashboards, they may be coming really soon. And then if you were to say delivered, you'll see that we have sharing yourself on deals, as well as filter view to have its own URL. It's a new one for me. The ability, be able to copy an existing automation, allow activity scoreboard to utilize custom tasks and custom event types. When this was delivered, it was very exciting for one of my accounts because previously the activity scoreboard was not a customizable list field. Just a few quick examples. And then our knowledge base is very, very robust. It's very searchable. In terms of our pipeline onboarding bootcamp, if you were to select onboarding here, you'll be able to see and catch up with any of the previous recordings. These are updated. I believe it's bi-monthly. I nest the current or most up-to-date videos in there as soon as I have the recordings available. And this is also sent out as the one pager at the end of our training series. So again, that's knowledge base, pipeline onboarding bootcamp. And then if you're needing to register for any other upcoming webinars, you can access that here through upcoming webinars. We have our basics and brush ups, which happens the first Tuesday of every month. This will be updated with the November session here shortly. And you can see that we have our onboarding bootcamp listed as well. I would keep an eye on this page because things might be changing in terms of our onboarding or on our webinars series. We also offer product webinars occasionally for when we do release items from that product ideas portal. But I want to thank you all on behalf of Pipeline for attending today and being such a great group. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Thank you.